scored in today's three games that we had live for you on your World of Champions. It was a 1-0 victory for Sekhukhune United up against Orlando Pirates. Mamelodi Sundowns Imperials against Richards Bay, 3-0 victory to them, and Stellenbosch were able to find that solitary goal up against Chipa United. And now to look at the ramifications on the log standings. The points difference between number 1 and number 2. The gap keeps on getting bigger. It is now 12 points for Mamelodi Sundowns with regards to that difference between them and Orlando Pirates. While for Sekhukhune United, Coach Eric Tinkler talking about that chance to maybe even challenge for the CAF Champions League. It doesn't end there because Chipa United also needed to win to ensure that they try and cement their place in the top 8. But now, with the teams like the Kaizer Chiefs knocking in, the same can be said for a team like Marumo Gallants. The Richards Bay did not do themselves any favors with regards to getting all the maximum points today, especially because they don't want to start thinking about the playoffs. What an interesting night in the Betway Premiership. Let's start with Pomozo. Pomozo, 3 games, entertaining games. Thoughts at the end?
I think we started off with the Mamelodi Sundowns game. I think I saw a 3-0 game, and the final score is 3-0. I think a good execution and application from the Sundowns players. I think they keep the course for the league, and they keep the course also for the Champions League. Good rotation. I think the freshness of the team was key. I thought that Koza was excellent at the back. Onyango keeps a clean sheet, a confidence booster. Clean sheet number 7 in all competitions. Then you go to Stellis. I think a good win. Sanele Barnes wrapping it up for Stellis. They bounce back in style. On the other side, in Orlando, I thought a game of 2 halves. I thought the first 45 minutes, Orlando Pirates completely dominated the game. And as football goes, you don't take your chances. The other team will get one, and they'll put it in the back of the net. And I thought exactly that's what happened with Orlando Pirates. I thought a well-taken header, Makhalwa again, getting man of the match. And also when you're looking at Makhalwa, I think now 11 assists. He's having an excellent season.
I have to say, Pomozo, you stole my shine there. I wanted to give you and Matthew your flowers for the correct prediction for Mamelodi. But no, but Matthew did say, he agreed. No, but he did say
you stole my prediction. I'm telling you, I mean, really.
So you're taking my flowers?
I also said 3-0.
No, I said 3-0. You agreed with me.
No. You knew what I was going to choose before we came on set.
So congratulations, James, for the correct prediction with regards to that game for Mamelodi Sundowns and Richards Bay. And for you, Matthew, at the end of the night, a lot to reflect on for all of the teams that played tonight.
Look, again, out of the 3 teams that came back from continental games, Pirates didn't get the result. But I think all 3 of them played with a lot of maturity. And if Pirates had taken their chances, the result certainly would have been reversed. And that would have meant that, 3 teams representing us on the continent come back from a tough weekend and they come back to the domestic league and they perform so well. That for me is a huge sign of maturity, And credit must go to the coaches. And a pity that Pirates, but I mean, we said it while we were watching it. The chance after chance after chance. How many times have we seen that? You don't take your chances and you get punished, Just one sucker punch, it happens. And must be gut-wrenching for Jose because as a whole, they certainly deserved more than what was given them.
A lot to reflect on with regards to Orlando Pirates and the way the result went this evening. With that said, when we come back, there's a lot of things to talk about, especially the title chase in the Betway Premiership. Do stay with us. Staying with us right here on your World of Champions. We start with the game between Orlando Pirates and Sekhukhune United. In fact, the last time that Orlando Pirates lost a game at home was up against Stellenbosch late in December, and this was in 2024. The first defeat at home in 2025. And how big of a blow is it for their title hopes, Pomozo?
I think when you look at the learning point that the players maybe need to look at, you look at a very similar situation in the CAF Champions League. It's a corner. Mahopa clears off the line. Today is a corner game. Mahopa tries his best to clear off the line. That's something to learn. But for me, going into this moment, it's Mbogazi. And when you're looking at Mbokazi's chance, yes, you might say it is weaker foot, but it's a good chance in the box. You're unmarked in the box. You need to take advantage of a situation like that. He goes on to miss that opportunity, and I felt that those are many of the chances that Orlando Pirates had, and they couldn't take in the game.
Let's talk about that, Matthew. The chances that were created, just not converted.
Yeah, I mean, for most of the first half, and then I think 10 or 15 minutes into the second, there was one picture of Eric Tinkler there who looked his face was full of angst, because he could see what was coming. They were just getting carved up at will. And then he changed things up a little bit by bringing Mtambo on, playing in front of Monare and Keys, and that kind of settled the team. But at the end of the day, another set piece, 13th set piece goal.
Yeah.
We knew that was going to be possibly a way in from them. Mahawa with the assist once again. I think that's his 11th assist. He does take most of the corners, so, generally, very good Nagati performance, tough tackling from Yamba, Cardosa, Langa, and that's what you needed, particularly towards the end of the game, to manage.
I think when Matthew speaks about that, when I was doing preps for the game, I looked at Sekhukhune. In their last 7 games that they played, it was 5 goals that comes from set pieces. If you are watching this game and you are thinking, how will they be able to carve open that Pirates defense? It will have to be through a set piece. There's a lot of question marks to say, does the keeper China call to say keeper? Because when you come out, you need to make contact. He does not make contact. The second thing is, does Sibisi, who's picking up Yamba, stop because there's a call from the goalkeeper? Those are the questions that we can ask. Only the players in the change room can answer those questions. And I think he rises the highest, that is Yamba, to be able to meet the ball at the highest point and be able to get the goal. And when I was saying earlier, I want to say, Pirates needs to learn from things like this. It's in the Champions League, it's the same corner where it's headed and Mahopa clears off the line. In this instance, he tries his best, Mahopa, to try and clear off the line. But the ball touches the underside of the crossbar and it goes in. It's something to learn about this match, to say it happened in the previous game where Mahopa clears off the line. Now, you are a defender. When the keeper makes the call, do you still go all out? Do you stop and give him an opportunity to then come and use the advantage of using his hand?
If he made a call, because we can't, it's not easy to tell from visuals, But the way that none of the Pirates defenders jumped, so you assume they heard a call. The Chainer clearly came out to try and punch. So what happens as a defender is when you hear a call, you initially prepare yourself to challenge, to get a jump in. If you hear a call coming behind you from your keeper, you stop and you try your best to protect your keeper by getting body on to any jumper. And so that's probably the reason why you don't see any jumping from the Pirates defenders, is because they've heard a call, most likely.
There was a slew of bodies there, Pomoto. It's hard to even see if Chain knew what he was doing because there were so many black shirts around him, and to think that not even one of them was able to at least make contact with the ball.
It's hard to judge because Matt and I are speaking about, was there a call? If there was a call, is that the reason why the Pirates defender stopped? But now you also have to think about Sipho Chain and say, this is a guy that has commanded that pole at Orlando Pirates this season. You're talking about a man that has 19 clean sheets in all competitions. Does he all of a sudden miscommunicate with his defenders? What causes the panic in that instance for him to be able to come out and not get anywhere close to the ball? But also, let's give credit to say the cross that comes in from Makhalwa is inch perfect. Yeah. It's world class.
And it's whipped in as well.
With a lot of pace. The ball that is coming in is coming at such a high pace. It just needs whoever is attacking it just to get head to the ball, and you'll generate the same power that the ball is coming in at. And I thought, well taken by Chibabria. He missed the ball at the highest point and a great goal.
We were looking at some of the key battles that might unfold this evening. One that I think grew as the game grew is Keleto Makhalwa and Nkosinathi Sibisi. And Nkosinathi Sibisi was coming second in everything. Keleto had the better half, and you could even see it with the fact that he was sent off for an early shower.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think he's lucky that they play Arrows after the derby on Saturday, because otherwise it would mean him missing the final. But this is what happens when you allow Makhawa to run at you. He will run at you at pace, he will drop his shoulder, he will cut inside as he did, and it's very difficult to defend like that unless you keep dropping back and giving him space. And in that instance, when you edge towards your box, you're running out of space. So there has to be some sort of challenge and some sort of contact before he gets inside that box. Unfortunately for Zabisi, it was on his second yellow.
I think for me, when you're looking at that incident a little bit deeper, you need to ask yourself a few questions to say, Makhalwa is playing as a left winger. Sibisi is a centre back. The first yellow card is Sibisi going to cover Shandu, a right back that is not in position. Sibisi goes out, he takes one for the team. The second time again, it's Sibisi. Let me use it's centre back versus winger. Where's the full back? Because on both occasions, the full back is nowhere to be seen. But the centre back has to go and address a winger even outside the big box. This happens twice. So that's something to question when you look at it deeper and you analyze in depth to say, okay, was there a problem with the structure? Why does the centre back have to address the winger all the time? And is addressing the winger closer to the line. So that is something that you have to look in terms of structure, in terms of system. What did Eric do better? What could Pirates and the technical team have done better? Not to find a centre back addressing a winger so far and from his own penalty area, which is more closer to the line. It says a lot about the shape to say why is the centre back addressing the winger.
And I think if you flip it onto the other side of the field, I think Eric did the wise thing. He played a 3-4-3, but what he did with the three attackers up front, Ramala played in behind Ohizo, and Sihlali played as an inverted winger. So that was their three. So slightly lopsided, allowing Makhawa, the left wing back, to attack in the left. But it meant basically that Sihlali, Mohaila, Yamba, and Mkize dealt with Hotto and Mako, that threat. And Eric recognized that threat on that side. I don't think Jose recognized the actual threat of Makhawa because he had Shandu and Nkota down that side, and they weren't particularly effective against him. And that meant that Sibisi had to come to the party on one or two occasions where he shouldn't have. There should have been some form of additional cover for him.
All right, Orlando Pirates did come close in this game to try at least try and salvage something. But Pomoto, you got the sense that they could have played for 2 more days. Pirates were still not going to get the answers in front of goal.
I think it's you might be right in saying that, because you look at the half chances that they would usually take in games, and they didn't take it. This is an excellent chance. I don't understand why Boyeli is not getting this in the back of the net. He digs just underneath that ball as he's making contact. For me, this is 2-0. He should have taken that chance. I don't understand how he misses it. Chaine stays on his legs as long as possible, and is able to make the save because of good positioning. If his positioning was not great, that's a goal all day.
There was just before this, Boyeli had actually kicked out Ndlondlo, and there was a bit of a scuffle, So Ndlondlo finds himself underneath Boyeli in that moment and makes a superb defensive tackle to try and disrupt him. But Boyeli, like Pumuzo said, should really have scored his 7th goal.
Lina almost caught napping in this particular moment, saved by his defender, Daniel Cardoso.
Yeah, it's an opportunity that you thought Mabasa could have taken, but it's an opportunity that you're thinking experience. If you're not an experienced defender sees that the goalkeeper is leaving his line, he's going to do my job as a defender. When the keeper comes out, Lina, Cardoso has got one thing on his mind. I'm a brother's keeper. I'm going to defend that line. And he does that so well and clears the ball off the line. It's a good opportunity for Orlando Pirates. Not an out-and-out clear chance. Good distribution coming from Sipho Chain to be able to find Mabasa. As soon as the keeper comes out, look at Cardoso on his bike to say we need to keep a clean sheet. And good service from Chain. Good application coming from Mabasa. good defending from Cardoso.
I had to laugh here because goalkeepers always have this in them, this crazy moment. And take nothing away from Lina, he's been great for Sekhukhune, but no matter how mature you are as a keeper, they have a crazy moment in them. Now that's 92 plus. There's no reason for him to have to come out, So I think credit must go to Cardoso for reading the possibility of him coming off his line, and great cover from him.
Daniel Cardoso providing the great cover for Lina, and now we look at the full